3 massive ones in the first game.
French backup team in the middle there. Guy Forget, the only one of the French players who's ever played in a Davis Cup final. Good sign when Edberg forces on his forehand.
Yeah, very logical return. Right, sitting up nice, begging to be hit away.
Sweden.
Both had chances to win the game already. 2 game points for Pioline. Just the one chance to break him from Edberg on that last point.
Not enough first serves. First point of the match, yes. From then on, no. Good passing shot, yes, but nothing really good yet. Not really a good enough approach by Edberg, and a lot of space for that.
Took him 3 chances, but Pioline gets past a break point, and at the start, best of 5 sets, France lead 1 love.
Some people hear their own inner voices with great clearness. Such people become crazy.
Julia Ormond, Brad Pitt.
Such people become legends.
Legends of the Fall, Saturday at 10 on the Movie Channel.
Legends of the Fall, just one of 40 premieres in November on Sky's movie channels.
Call 0990 10 20 30 and we'll switch you on.
The Auto Direct price promise means cheaper car insurance or your money back. Ring our quote line on 0990 600 100 now.
8 cans of Heineken, only £5? Oh, that's a foul, surely! Drinks cabin, magic!
Well, the singing has got going already. That adds for fun. I think the French are winning that early on. Edberg will be frustrated that he didn't take his chance to break in the opening game. If he can get his serve going well, Edberg, right at the start, that'll help the feel-good factor.
Yes, he still looks pretty nervous to me, pretty on edge. Hardly surprising.
First serve. Love 15.
The tactic I think we might see again from Mr. Pioline. Edberg not all that close to the net, but he does tend to crowd the net.
Certainly hasn't settled yet. You'd think that the more times a player has competed in matches of such tension, it will get easier. But you talk to any player, he'll tell you the opposite is the fact. You get more and more nervous and less able to cope with it.
Yesterday in practice, Jerry hitting the ball beautifully, Edberg, particularly on the forehand. I thought his weaker wing, and volleying superbly. Practice is very different.
Well, that backhand volley, much more like it.
I was admiring more the get from Pioline, actually. It was an amazing retrieving shot by him.
One game all first set.
I bet he's feeling pretty happy to got out of that game, Edberg, because his play so far has been very patchy.
15 love.
Should have made the pass. It was a suicide approach by Edberg, that.
First serve. Fifteen 30.
Fine shot.
Really excellent lob by Edberg, this. Just deep enough. And the third successive game with a break point.
Intelligent player, Pioline, mixes it up. Bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah, courageous too. Hasn't been attacking the net, but did on the break points.
Advantage comes.
opposite angle.
Well, here's a milestone in this match. The first passing shot by Edberg. Beautiful, studied, roll backhand. The others have been frantic attempts and all gone too long. Extraordinary thing. Just out of your picture there, returning a ball to the ball boy and wanting another one, the two balls collided. I've never seen that. Deuce.
Got to make more telling volleys than that.
Yeah, Pioline lucky though. I think it might have been a more telling volley. In fact, I'm sure it would if it hadn't clipped the net. Slowed down here for Pioline. And he likes that roll backhand down the line and is very good at it.
Yes, good finish. France lead 2-1 first set. Could easily have been 3-love down at the start. The French team at the side of the court, Guy Forget, Guillaume Roque, they'll be playing the doubles. It's always nice when you play the doubles not having had to play singles as well without that extra responsibility, and that, in fact, that's the same with both these teams.
Take your seats quickly, please, behind the players. Quickly, thank you.
I think this fellow is the more composed, not this one, so far in this match. Edberg, I feel, suffering the strain and the responsibility. The whole tie could actually depend on this particular match here, the whole Davis Cup final. This could be crucial, this match, as the doubles so often is. And Edberg has had 3 chances to break and never looked like breaking.
Love 15.
Emotional chap, isn't he, this Swedish captain? Beautiful passing shot, very early he took that. I think he's got his eye in.
Oh dear. What a bother here for Sweden.
Well, Edberg suffering there from what he's suffered from for quite a long time, really. A lack of service power, and that relates to his smashing power, and that was a poor smash.
Well, if that touched the line, I think it was just about the outside edge. A bit fortunate there was Edberg.
15-40.
those volleys, you could sense it coming, really. Edberg, very edgy. France have a lead of 3-1 first set.
France leads 3-1.
Yeah, well, these are all volleys that Edberg should and would have made in his heyday, and indeed yesterday in practice he did, but this is the Davis Cup final for real, and the nerves have not evaporated as yet.
French team arrived here in Malmo on Sunday evening, having trained in a spa town in Brittany for a week together. They had a court, a flexi-pave court laid there, especially because it would be exactly the same surface they'd be playing on here. So Pioline's used to this pace, and of course the ball.
Nice clean service action, isn't it? It relaxes you when you've got a break. It's like being 2 goals ahead, really. That was a fine serve and a wonderful return by Edberg at full stretch to control that. An incredible match this is. Every game with break points in it so far. Cannot produce the telling return at break point. He really has defended when facing break point, Pioline, so well. Served well, attacked the net, volleyed well.
His best return, and that's going to lift his spirits, I'm sure.
Yeah, finally he produces a return of serve, which is produces a defensive, which might have gone out that, but Edberg was taking no chances. Third break point. Now for once break point, second serve.
Edberg starting the motor now, hitting more balls in court, got a better rhythm, he's cancelled out the break. French lead restricted now to 3-2 first set.
France needs 3-2.
He's just beginning now at last to find a more comfortable rhythm as he moves.
Yeah, I think he did then, Jerry. I think that approach shot, the backhand approach to the Pioline forehand, was a good shot. He leant into it. There was the old Edberg flowing style there. It looked very good. But up to that point, I think he's been very, very patchy indeed, not doing what he normally does so well. I mean, he is the wonderful sight on the tennis court, isn't he? Always has been, still is. But he has not done that reputation of his real justice as yet. I think he's very tense indeed. As I've said before, really not surprising. He's got the weight of responsibility of the whole Swedish nation on his back. And he's got his reputation at stake, because this is his final performance. Just 2 singles in this match, and he's gone from world tennis.
Well, 15.
Like him to make a mountain out of a molehill. On the contrary. So I think that was an awkward fall.
He's flexing his right foot there, isn't he?
Yes, it was the ankle, I think.
Yes. The ankle bent inwards.
Yeah, just under the umpire's chair, you can see Ken Farrar, the referee, just moved forward to see what's going on here. He may well take an injury timeout. I think he's going
3
to.
minutes injury timeout.
Yes, he's taken an injury timeout. That's a wretched thing to happen so soon in the opening rubber of a Davis Cup final.
It certainly is. Do I see a swelling there already?
Well, we mustn't jump to too many conclusions, but if a player gets injured and has to concede a rubber, then and he's not fit to play again.
Well, what a terrible thing to happen. I mean, it was a wonderful bit of play by Pioline, but having said that, sending Edberg the wrong way and then a beautiful passing shot. But how often do you see this man who moves so well to the net and at the net fall? Virtually never. Becker all the time, but Edberg, no.
Swedish physios obviously knew exactly what had happened. They diagnosed it just by looking at the way he twisted his ankle, and so they knew exactly what to do. So there you are, and you can sense, I think, in the crowd's attitude, almost silent in a way, just this murmur of anxiety, of concern for what's happened. It's come at the time just when Edberg, it seemed, I think, to both of us, was beginning to move at that lovely gliding pace of his, but now you can see the anxiety on his face.
Edberg guessing he'd go to the Edberg forehand. He didn't, trying to stop and turn, and only achieving and turning that ankle. Yeah, this is drastic for any player, of course, to have what could be an injury here, but a player who relies totally on his mobility around the court.
Up there top right in your picture, also looking anxious, you've got a shot of Joachim Nyström, former top Swedish player himself. Now coach Thomas Enquist.
1 minute remaining.
1 minute remaining, says George Diaz from the umpire's chair. Out of your picture, you can't see it, but Yannick Noah is crouching low, just to keep talking quietly to Cedric Pioline. Obviously put something positive into Pioline's mind so that Pioline doesn't just sit there thinking, well, what's going on here?
Exactly that, yeah, keeping his mind focused. Yannick Noah, just the most exuberant, active Davis Cup captain it's possible to imagine.
He's so popular with the French players
Yeah.
that even the leading French women players have now asked the French Federation if Noah can captain their Federation Cup, or rather Fed Cup team.
He was a great captain. Inspirational.
Well, now, how's he look? Carla Hagersdorg inquires. I think he needs to keep it warm. Start to move on it as quickly as possible.
Sydney's lovely.
Not a nice time to start, is it? With an injury, love 30.
2-3, first set. Well, he moved in smartly enough behind that. I would guess that he's going to try and get the points over quickly now. So he hasn't got to do too much running backwards and forward and changing direction.
Well, he's having trouble. He was before the injury with these dipping returns of serve by Pioline. Always having to play low volleys. More break points. Every game the same.
Yes, bold play by Edberg. Sense of daring, sense of adventure, and that serve. He's never needed it more.
Juice.
How was that? Edberg looks suspiciously at that, but I think it was in, wasn't it, Bill?
I think it was, yeah. It was a beautiful pass, wasn't it? I mentioned earlier he liked rolling this one down the line. And played quite a long way from his body. That's an exceptionally good shot.
No, he didn't salvage the point, but he ran robustly enough for that.
Yeah, the tennis is improving as this match goes on, and Pioline excelling with some volleys.
First impression, don't know about you, Dr. Threlfall, not too bad, but of course he's got to convince himself, that's the priority. Edberg's got to convince himself that he's not too hampered by that.
Yeah. That was tough on Pioline, lucky for Edberg.
Key moment, no question about that. Had to haul himself back from love 30 in this game, in 15-40.
First serve.
Chink forward then, I think, a bit gingerly.
First serve, 144k.
Wild. That's manful effort, really is, by Edberg. Because the fall, if nothing else, would have ruined his concentration, which would have been good. Having said that, Edberg's the man who said he didn't even notice Boris Yeltsin walk on court at the end of a game when they played in the final in Moscow 2 years ago. So there you are.
Just occurs to me, Jerry, that there you see the score 3-all level pegging. Well, if one or the other player had taken all his chances, the set would be over, 6-love.
Yep.
Love 15.
I think there you saw a difference in the two players. Edberg, the master of the low volley, and this chap, much better with a high volley, put-away volley. If that foot is hurting, it's probably the backhand where it's going to manifest itself more when he leans onto the right leg. And the backhand, of course, his favourite wing.
So the 15. 15.
There's almost stifling tension here as France go back into the lead 4 games to 3 first set. His mind again.
Yeah, and the last game was the first one of this match, which did not contain break points, held by Pioline to 15.
Love 15.
Bad volley. Fortunate to get away with that.
Well, I couldn't see why he didn't put it away cross court. I think perhaps Edberg changing his mind. Eventually, it's dangerous to do that. Caught between the two, gave it back.
Yeah, just long.
30 all.
Badly needs to get this service of his going. Confidence and rhythm.
Edberg's best staccato little point of the match. Just the most lovely, caressed low volley on the forehand, wasn't it? Such a difficult shot when it's dipping down like that. Fairly wide of you. Well may he blow sighs of relief. I mean, that was so simple for Edberg when the other was so difficult.
Point of 5-3 for the French. Yes, made it. That double fault was crucial, I think, there. 5-3, first set, France in the lead.
First lead, 5-3.
Well, you expect Edberg to miss backhand volleys about once a match. And I think it's a further sign that you can see there it is on his mind.
Well, I think so, yeah. Stepping into that shot, putting weight on that right foot, it all niggles away at your confidence, your mind.
Feeling serving for the first set, 5-3. Three set points. Yes, just long. That's the first set. Deserved, I suppose you'd have to say in the end, for Pioline, but you also have to concede that Edberg, from the moment he twisted and hurt his ankle, left ankle, he was never quite so sure. Mentally, certainly wasn't settled. 1 hour that took, and France lead 1 set to love. To the bandaging, binding on Edberg's left ankle, change of ends.
Yeah, well, we've just got to hope that it's not going to affect the outcome of this match, and it would be a great pity, of course, if it did, and really for Edberg's final appearance in the Davis Cup contest. Yannick Noah there, absolutely so alive to his player the whole time, encouraging, supporting. And France in the lead by 1 set.
Boxing for that. Completely.
The second serve. I wonder if it was even better than he intended. Tremendous amount of work on it. Slice going away.
Order 30.
This is a great backhand by Pioline. It's really an off backhand, going from more or less the middle of the court away with a bit of side spin as well. Terrific shot. Deuce.
Well, they took a gamble there because the approach shot really didn't have enough on it. Wasn't quite deep enough. It didn't put Pioline in a difficult enough position to make a pass. And it would be further calamity for the Swedish effort if, having just lost the first set, Edberg would drop his serve here. Ooh, I think he winced there.
I think Pioline winced a bit too at the call not coming. I thought it could have been wide. Yep, I see the occasional wince coming out of Edberg. Has not had a service game in this match, which has not had at least one break point in it, Edberg.
Edberg really was. Just about holding on here. He needed to win his serve there, and he's done so. Sweden, 1-love. France, 1 set to love. Everything's going to go for him. Doesn't work out that way always.
What a lovely flowing return of serve by Edberg that was. Struck perfectly.
But he pulled up again a bit gingerly, Bill.
Yep, he did. Hobbled at the end of it.
Difficult man to volley against is Pioline because he hits his passing shots with a lot of roll, so the ball dips. And you usually find yourself having to volley up. One game all, second set. You sense, Bill, that Edberg wants to get the points over a bit quicker?
I think basically he likes to play like that anyway, doesn't he? When he's serving serve and volley, he hopes that's it. And when he's returning, receiving serve, he hopes to receive and go to the net and volley. But if he serves as he is at almost half pace at the moment, then Pioline is going to pick off some passing shots. Edberg is not going to get the volleys he wants. Edberg staying back, even when the first serve goes in. It's not his scenario at all.
Well, the serve certainly lacking penetration. I think he's wary, as he always would be, of the passing shots from Pioline. He knew, even before he completed the shot, that was going to be out. You could see Edberg straighten up. Break point down in the opening game of this second set. Break point down again here.
Nothing new, break point every game.
There's the break. France already is set up. Now lead 2 games to 1 second set. Time. 2-1, set and 2-1. Yes, even Noah applauding him then.
Just a fabulous point by Edberg, really was. Gut, skill, inventive, particularly that shot which fooled Pioline going the wrong way. That's a wonderful volley. And Pioline couldn't cope with that. What a terrific point by Edberg. And you saw him there walk gingerly onto that right foot.
Just wonder what that might do to his morale. And attacking the ball better. But again, as you can see, a little hobble.
Yeah, he's sort of clumping forward, isn't he? It's none of that feathery touch with his feet on the turf we know at Wimbledon.
Forehand volley on the previous point was awful. So was that forehand hit then. And so we got signs of an Edberg revival. Swedish flag beginning to wave. I wonder.
Incredible match, isn't it? First set, Edberg broken. Go 1-3 down, promptly breaks back. Just so many break points in this match so far. It's almost a penalty to be serving.
Might just have encouraged Edberg to go for it, because it was when he did go for it that things started to happen.
Yep.
2 games all.
Yes, Edberg in the last game, as you say, Jerry, he suddenly unleashed a couple of wrong-footing backhands down the line, off backhands. And both of those shots won the points.
Just for the moment, it seems to me that Pioline's been thrown by this. He was fairly sure quite what sort of opponent he was playing and the condition he was in, i.e. handicapped. And then suddenly, Edberg snapped back at him. Now Pioline's not so sure. His mindset's been rocked.
There it is again. That's the shot I mean. The off backhand.
41.
And that was a piercing shot. It really was. The best of the 3 he's played in the last 2 games. He's won the last 5 points.
They're indecision, no question about it in Pioline's mind at the moment. Best sequence yet by Edberg. And the Swedes are 3-2 up, 1 set down. Edberg. Somebody moving in the crowd. Cameraman, I think.
A couple of chaps moseying up the steps there behind Edberg. So there's no tennis on in this stadium. Pioline can play this shot with great safety and security because he puts so much topspin on the ball. He can clear the net, plenty of clearance, and still drop well in, and still hit hard.
No question, the last 5 minutes, Pioline has lost that certainty, which is so much a mark of his play so far in this opening rubber.
Yes, I think Edberg's responsible, though, Jerry, for his loss of that certainty. I think Edberg has mixed it up better, has lent into these shots a bit more, and is certainly playing better, even though restricted by that foot injury.
Oh. 2-3. And a break point down.
34.
Managing to produce good serves when break points down, normally, Pioline. Heavier serve, faster.
Reach for that. Wasn't the usual nimble Edberg in moving in late volley.
No, I think without that injury, he would have moved in closer, and that would have made the volley easier, of course.
Just for a moment, when Edberg had a chance to break Pioline there, he sensed that the crowd began to believe, they want to believe, that this is not a lost cause after all.
We've had 15 games, and 11 of those have had break points. Unbelievable.
Love 15. Love 30. 15-30.
Since there are two battles going on out there on that side of the court. Edberg against Pioline, and Edberg with himself to try and convince himself that he can do this, that he's fit enough.
Break point again. He's only had one game in the match without a break point. Last game to love. Edberg won.
Well, it was a serve, but Edberg winced as he came in. It seems to me it's when he moved forward.
Yeah. I think that's why he's loath to serve and volley at the moment. He is in the pain he appears to be in. It's a very, very gutsy performance to be out there. His mouth dropped open, his eyes popped out. That was just a chaotic mishit by Pioline. God, he's having no luck with the net at all, Edberg. He's had to play volleys off net cords, which have been difficult. That could have dropped over and didn't.
I thought it was a pivotal moment in the second set, maybe in the whole match, although the most crucial was when Edberg in the first set stumbled and twisted his left ankle. Right, is it, Bill? Right ankle?
Yep. That's his foot. That's his foot faulting ankle.
Yes.
Gosh, he stepped in and stabbed that one away in the old Edberg manner, didn't he? Pain or not.
Advantage Sweden.
Another classic Edberg volley, fading that one on the forehand away. Feathering across the ball.
Well, one way or another, Stefan Edberg is just about in front in this second set. 4-3, Sweden lead, France 1 set to 0.
He is clearly impeded. 3-4. Oh! 12 out of the 16 games have had break points in. It's that sort of match.
Love 15.
About his fastest attempt, 191k that serve. Knowledgeable crowd here. They know the importance of this point coming up. 15:30.
It's out by 2 or 3 inches. Surprised that Pioline should have looked inquiringly at the side of the court.
30-40.
Well, here's a point and a half. This would leave Edberg serving for the set. Will Edberg chip and charge?
Your answer. Continues to be a stuttering performance, this, by Pioline. Edberg won't go away, but then he never does.
Well, they met 5 times before. Pioline would have expected that reaction from Edberg.
Goal. Second set, France lead by 1 set to love. I suppose if it weren't the final of the Davis Cup, you'd say this was a pitiful match. And if it weren't for the drama of the Edberg's injury, of course.
Huge French support by this crowd just below us here on the left. No, tough game for Edberg, this one. 4-all, second set. Wonderful volley instincts from this man then to hit the ball back from whence it came, instead of trying anything too elaborate. I'd like to see that one again. That's the sort of shot that gives the player real pleasure. Look at that right knee bent and driving through the ball down the line. Just a wonderful feeling for a player when he brings that one off.
Quite how Pioline's defensive lob threaded the rafters. I'm not quite sure.
No, he's pretty lucky because it...
they're high, aren't they?
Yeah, and it went higher than the rafters, so Pioline lucky there, didn't hit them. Very high stadium, plenty of room for the lob.
Better timing, but again, you could see the way Edberg pulled up then on his right ankle, having completed the volley, but he's still hurting him.
And not many players would have got their racket on this volley to get whipped back ferociously by Pioline. Edberg did terrifically well to hang his racket on it. 4-all deuce.
Yes, that's it. That's the Edberg backhand volley. They don't come back when he snaps them like that. Not just the snap, it's the angle as well.
Yeah, and he's got to suffer the pain to close the net and to achieve the angle.
Oh, that was risky. Didn't have the right movement, and this is a bad moment, really bad moment for Edberg. 4 games all, break point down. If he drops his serve here, Pioline is going to be serving for a lead of 2-6-love in the opening rubber.
Searing backhands by Edberg then. Forehands, I should say, cross court. Beautiful shots.
Never got to it, never got in position. Pioline cannily playing the ball as much as possible to Edberg's forehand. He had 3 chances to win this service game here, Edberg. Well, if that was in, it was, I think. That was as good a return as you'll see.
Yeah, Pioline has been returning exceptionally well on the backhand side. And that gave Edberg no chance.
Very good return, and Pioline indeed is going to be serving after change of ends to give France a lead of 2-6-love.
Well, certainly Edberg's natural instinctive game has been blunted by that right ankle injury. There's no doubt about that at all. He cannot do the things he wants to do, which is camp himself on the net, move to the net, move sideways for volleys, get on his right foot. Can't do those things.
Three set points. It's impossible to hide one's compassion for Edberg and his predicament, but you have to admire Pioline. He's had to blot as much of this out of his mind. You take what you can get in sport, quite rightly too. France leads 6-3, 6-4.
By 2 sets to 1.
And can Edberg, injured as he is, possibly recover from this? A fitter Edberg, yes, he could. There are no players with deeper resolve than him.
Yes, without the injury, he might well have been 2 sets to love up himself. I mean, it's been that close a match with this massive number of break points in all these games. Hardly a game. There have only been 2 games to love, 1 to each man, and that was the only one by Pioline. So, third set, if Edberg's to win, he's got to win the next 3 sets. Lifted his head, I think, as he hit that. He's treated Edberg's serve sometimes contemptuously, particularly on the backhand side.
but Edberg somehow survives. France 2-1, Sweden 1 game to love in the third.
Pretty objective, I think, unforced errors. You're looking at those statistics there. His first serve percentage has improved, but the unforced errors are still giving him a lot of problems. They're objective, so a lot of them have been forced by hard-hitting top-spin drives from his opponent.
Players are ready. Quickly, thank you.
That last game was Edberg's only the second game he didn't have to suffer breakpoints against him on serve. Only the second game in the whole match. So that's the sort of pressure Edberg has been under. And indeed Pioline as well, who's had massive number of breakpoints in his service games.
15-5.
Well, of the two, he's serving much the heavier, up in the 180, sometimes 190 kilometre mark.
Love going to Pioline. Something grimly purposeful about the way he played that game.
It's only his second love game of the match, and only the third in total love games in the match.
The word tragedy, it always seems to me, is much overused in describing sporting injuries and things that happen in sport, but it would certainly be a cruel shame for Edberg if, as a result of this injury, this is the way his career ends.
Well, it would be particularly sad, yes, Jerry, particularly not only in this particular match he's playing at the moment, but if he could not play the fifth rubber in this tie because of injury, that really would be sad. Particularly if the match was poised at 2 rubbers each to the teams and it all depended on an Edberg win at the end. Yes, I think that was just wide. Very clever shot by Pioline, that pass. Reduced the pace to get the angle.
Goes too short.
Yes, I think Edberg, by approaching and playing to that wing, the forehand wing, is inviting that cross-court pass. He might be better advised to play to the backhand, which is equally strong, I think, from Pioline. How many points has Edberg won in this fantastic career of his by just hanging his racket out to dry there and letting the ball die off the racket in front of his opponent?
Sweden lead 2-1. France lead 2-10 for love. Pioline, the third set, serving now 1-2 down. I'm fairly sure it's the right idea to hurry Pioline, not give him time to set himself and play those, I think, often called rather ornate shots. They are too. That shows how far more regularly than Edberg today, Pioline is able to unload some of those serves, really quite heavy.
Yeah, the snag here for an injured player who can't get fully mobile is that Pioline hits the ball in a way that he can achieve real angles on the court. That heavy topspin, he can move an opponent from side to side a long way.
Made to hurry that, but played a quite perfect shot. And that's 2 games all. 2 sets to love, France lead.
Spectacular pass, wasn't it, by Pioline, half volley, sort of thing Agassi used to do when he was playing well.
Strange feeling, Bill, that although Edberg's got a whole day to receive treatment on that ankle, it could be the last time we'll ever see him play a competitive match.
No, I don't say that. A lot of people are going to burst into tears if that happens. Let's hope he can recover. I tell you, the sight of this man moving in with those great volleys of his has been, hasn't it, for the last decade, one of the great sights of tennis. Terrific choice of shot by Edberg then. Whipped it across when that was not expected by him. And that's the shot that Edberg played so well himself in the last set. 2 or 3 of those off backhands. Killing shot.
Yes,
Well, this is quite amusing because Pioline did this with the net cord return and gazed to heaven. But at least he practiced it for the next time when he did it even better. Big, big point, this one.
There's the break. Might be one break too far. It gives France a lead of 2 sets to love, and now 3-2. He'll take with him into retirement 2 Wimbledons, 2 US Opens, 2 Australian. Tying in with Becker. Behind Borg, Connors, Lendl, McEnroe, Valander and Sampras in that respect.
Yep, 41 singles titles as well, and doubles titles. Grand Slam doubles titles 2, and a reputation second to none.
2 sets to love and a break here, 3-2.
Invited that double by moving forward, Edberg. Or should I say hobbling forward.
Made up his mind at Edberg even before he struck that he was, the serve was too short. He was going to give it a crack. 2 points for 4-2.
Yannick Noah looks away with a pained look on his face. He's had to do that a few times with some incredible mishits from his player. There he is.
Ball change, please.
4 games to 2, third set. 2 sets to love. France in the lead. Yannick Noah,
Ball change.
who can be so inspirational, gets so excited, sits there really, I think, counting his chickens, his first point. Pioline doesn't have the devastating game that can go and put a limping opponent out of his misery. He has to just keep working away, Pioline. He's doing it admirably. But when you think back, the injury to Edberg came in the first set, really before either player had settled. It looked so harmless as he just stumbled as he went forward.
Yep.
But you knew, because it was Edberg, who never makes a fuss of anything, when he stayed down, he was really hurt.
Yep. That was a great shot by Pioline for many reasons. Watch the way he comes over and round the ball. Now, has to stretch. He comes up and over and round the right-hand top side of the ball.
30-15.
And so with that pass, Pioline bent it round Edberg as well. Two terrific shots here. I really thought Edberg had won the point with this. I tell you something, this fella Pioline is a deceptive mover.
30-all.
He shambles around the place and you don't think he's moving fast, but my word, he does.
Two, 4, 30-40. One more point for the French number 1, and he can serve for this opening rubber. Not the one I think that most of us thought that the French would capture, but then we didn't guess. How could we have guessed what would happen?
Yes, in their history together, this chap Edberg has won the last 4 times they've played. And you would expect his volleying to blunt the passing abilities of Pioline. This is about the hardest hit ball I've seen in this match. It just went like an arrow.
Yes, a little bit long. Pioline thought so too. But Edberg, what would you expect? He will persist, and he is doing, well, there's the slightest chance at all. 4-3, sorry, 4-3. But I suppose in a way almost more his wife, Annette. The camera hasn't found her yet, but she's sitting just behind this lot. That's Magnus Larsson in there, right in the centre. She's sitting behind with Tony Pickard. Edberg's coach through all these years. His wife Janet sitting next to him.
15.
Well, that's the sort of play that Pioline can produce, moving his man from side to side, far wider than most players can achieve. Last thing Edberg wants.
Searing backhand pass, the backhand volley. We'll remember those.
Yeah, a trademark shot that was just that wonderful style.
Remember those and the charm, I think, of the man. The endless sportsmanship. I put him alongside Arthur Ashe and Stan Smith. I think of all the players I've watched, of whom I'd have said that. Balls for replacement.
40-15.
2 points for 5-3.
Great return out of the blue here. At full stretch, just falling in.
Game.
5-3 and 2 sets.
5-3.
French all smiles, which is as it should be. But even if he wins in this next game, or perhaps on his own serve in the game after that, it will unfortunately give even Pioline less than the full satisfaction that he deserves.
15-5.
It's been a day when fate has played a scurvy trick.
He's shown a good appreciation in the match, Pioline, when to move forward, what volleys to pick off.
15-40.
2 match points for Pioline, for France to take a lead of 1-love on the first day of this year's Davis Cup final.
Thank you. Right on, Randy. Thank you.
It's going to be in, it is it. All credit to Cedric Pioline. It wasn't easy for him at all, because he had to shut his mind to the problems of Stefan Edberg. But any fair-minded person would have wanted today, so far as Edberg was concerned, to have been a celebration at the end of a quite outstanding career for one of the great sporting gentlemen. And it's just an awful sadness that it hasn't happened that way, but that's the way it happens sometimes. 2.5 hours, and the French celebrate, but with it there's an awful sense of regret here, which I'm sure, Bill, you share.
I agree with all you said there, Jerry, absolutely. Interesting that at the end of the match, Yannick Noah went to the French team before going to even his own player. And the niceties, of course, of Davis Cup play, team competition, are that the opposition congratulate each other and commiserate with each other first before going to your own player. Well, I mean, Edberg, what can you say? He fought the good fight, as he always has done. You can do no more. He played clearly with an injury from early on in the match. He played some little bits of his own glorious tennis, but unforced errors. Let's forget statistics. What are they about in a match like this? I mean, Pioline served better, that's all, I think. And Edberg did his best and showed, I think, tremendous guts to produce what he did produce in that match. Full credit, as you said, Jerry, to Pioline, though, for going on with his thing and winning a match which couldn't have been easy for him either.
And now we can only speculate what will happen. He's, according to the draw, Edberg, to play the 5th rubber. Will he be fit enough? He's got a day off, doubles tomorrow, and I'm sure the medical people will be working on the ankle, but whether or not he can recover in time really seems problematical.
Well, let's just hope he can. Let's assume he's going to. Yeah. Let's hope.
Where do you place him, Bill, among the players, the champions of through the years you've been watching?
Well, behaviour-wise, I certainly don't place him as the best player of all the players I've been watching. That accolade has to go, I think, to people like John McEnroe. Well, I think, I don't know, Becker, certainly he's up there with the best. For behaviour, for manners, for deportment, for character, for guts, which he's shown today, for style, for volleys. He's right up there in my book with the very best that have ever been on a tennis court.
Nice guys deserve a better fate than has been dealt to Stefan Edberg today, but that's often the way of the world.
Yeah.
And he's the sort of person, knowing him, who in the end will come to terms with that and look back on the good things and not spend too much time fretting over the bad.
Listen,
things.
he's just got a career which he has just got to be so proud of. And everybody who's known him, his country, his wife, $20 million of prize money, he's okay for his future.
Yes, he's adorned the game. Sweden have had 3 #1 players in the men's game in a very short period of time. First Borg, then Wilander, and then Edberg. And in terms of charm, you'd have to say that Edberg topped the lot.
Hear, hear.
And today he's just had the most awful finish, and one feels for him. France lead 1-love at the start of this year's Davis Cup final.
Yes, 2 hours 30, perhaps the last 2.5 hours, Peter Fleming, of Stefan Edberg's playing career. We feel in the studio quite strongly, I think, that he's going to struggle to be able to get out and do some work on Sunday now.
I think so, yeah. It's certainly the way it usually happens is that when you sprain an ankle or twist an ankle or whatever, that you can play on that particular match, but then when you get off the court and your body cools down, the ankle starts to swell, and it takes a lot more than 2 days to get better. It would take at least a week, sometimes 3 weeks if it's bad. It was tempting to think that we might see one last heroic effort from Edberg, but it obviously wasn't possible today. I mean, if it was possible, he would have done it. Certainly, you could see right away that he was very tentative in his movement, and it was a little muscle on the outside of his, or a little tendon on the outside of his foot that runs up your calf, and it enables you to go up on your toes, and he couldn't on you know, his first serve or first volley rather, you know, he couldn't push off, so balls that he normally would cover at the net easily, he was struggling to, and then Pioline was like shooting fish in a barrel. You know, it was pretty easy from there.
And as much as the physical injury and the limit that puts on you with the pain, it's the mental thing, isn't it? I mean, he was going at 1,000 miles an hour probably between his ears, but there's just nothing he could do.
In the the end of the first set and the beginning of the second set, you could see that he was in a panic. He really didn't know what to do, and then it appeared as though he calmed down and thought, okay, well, this has happened to me, and I have to try and make the best of it. And he just wasn't physically good enough because he couldn't cover the court. So.
I thought the tactics were fairly obvious right from the start, weren't they? I mean, Edberg has made a career out of getting on into the net and really making an opponent struggle. I thought there was a particularly good example from the first set here, the way Edberg gets in and the way Pioline also, Peter, deals with it. Well, exactly. Pioline's strength are his ground strokes and his ability to pass, because he rarely comes to net, so the match usually ends up an opponent attacking and Pioline passing. Now, here's that Edberg approach that we see so often. Now, can we stop it there, please? Stop it. Hello. Okay, from that position... You're classic, you are.
Thank you very much. Edberg here was in a very strong position. Pioline completely out of court. So, had Pioline tried to rocket a passing shot here or there, he really would have had to hit the ball on the line. And from this position...
That's nailing the angles, Edberg, right?
Well, Edberg has most of the court covered. From this position, all he had to do was be just to reach the ball or pick it right, and he's got the whole court wide open. Okay, let's run it on now. Pioline, though, plays...
It's perfect.
Just a perfect little dink pass. The strategy behind it really is just to neutralize the attacking player and buy yourself time to get back into the court and hope that he doesn't put it away. And that shot was so good that Edberg couldn't even reach it.
Before the injury at 3-2 in the first set, every game was tight. It was beginning to look like, well, this had 5 sets written all over it. It was quite a slow, methodical start, wasn't it? A lot of nerves around to start the match.
Well, I think we expected that from Edberg and certainly Pioline. Anyone playing the opening match in a Davis Cup final is going to be very nervous. Well, the quality of tennis was very high, but still, they were both struggling to hold serve. They hadn't quite gotten their serving rhythm, yeah, it was starting out promising.
Indeed. The first big break came Pioline's way. Edberg serving at break point down at 3-4. And this is the way to deal with a serve volley. Straight back down to the feet, gets it popped up, moves into the court, and pop. And it was at that point that the match, well, really began to get away from Stefan Edberg. I mean, Pioline is... You know, if he was 30 or 40 or 50 in the world, you'd think Edberg might have a chance even if he was injured, just because he knows so much, really, Peter. But injured, no chance against Pioline.
Pioline is number 21 in the world and probably a bit better than that, I think. He had a stretch in the beginning of the year when he was playing excellent tennis, and I thought he was going to rocket into the top 10 again. I think he's fighting off a bit of a back problem, or has recently had that, and so maybe isn't quite as confident as he was then. But he's a very good player.
To win a match in a Davis Cup final, a great achievement, even against